Hello, happy Monday. I apologize for the late start. Apparently, we lost power last night and it shut down my computer, and I was not aware until I came to start up. So, apologies. What we're going over today is digital planners for homeschooling. Now, I think this is pretty exclusive to homeschooling. I was about to say, maybe parents who are not homeschooling could use this, but I don't think so actually. I think it's really what I'm about to present to you is pretty much for homeschooling parents. But then that's what the Monday show is it's about homeschooling. So what I've done is I have pulled oh gosh, I think I have at least 5, possibly 6 different digital sources, and there are more, believe it or not. I'll see what I can get through today, but the most important thing I wanna convey to you is that despite the negative things that I say and that we sometimes think about tech, when it comes to using it for education, it can really streamline your life a lot. And it can make it easier for you to communicate with your children if your children are older than, let's say, fifth grade and you need to do homeschooling stuff with them. And it can make it easier for you to communicate even at times with other homeschoolers or with the curriculum providers that you might be using, and also even the state, if the state monitors you or you are getting ESA funds and you need to keep very close track of what you're doing. So I wouldn't poo-poo it because a lot of these can make your life a lot easier and for what I consider to be a pretty nominal cost. And if you are in a situation where you live in a state where you have to keep very detailed records because you're getting state money, then I would definitely use some of that to defray this cost. It's not much. Most of the things I'm about to show you cap out at no more than $100 a year, and most are below that. So most run between $70 and $90 for an annual plan. You could be looking at somewhere between um, like $8 and $10 a month, depending upon what it is that you're buying. Before I show you, sort of like screen share what these things do, I'm going to give you some criteria to consider as you're looking at these. And I hope what you'll do is take note of the criteria for evaluation that I've used and that I suggest that you use, as well as the links that I'm going to provide to these different planning sources. I will be putting these links in the resource library. Please be advised that the resource library that is currently in Discord, and as of today is January 8th, 2024, is being updated to be accessible at the Woke Screen, the Reason We Learn website. So if you're a member, a monthly member, or an annual member, you will be able to access the resource library through a web interface, and you won't have to go through Discord once I get it done. But there's a lot of data entry. I'm doing it myself to sort of re-enter everything I put in Discord over there, but I think the interface is going to be so much prettier and easier for you to use that I think it's worth it. Um, I'll keep it in both places for a while, so you'll be able to access it in both places, but after a point, I'm going to not update the one on Discord because I'm going to be putting everything originally into the website. So once I get everything that's there now over to the website, that's where it's all going to live. And the links to these planning applications will be there as well. Probably in one post. I don't think I'll put them in separate posts. Okay, here are the things you need to consider. First and foremost, your homeschooling method and style. This is really important because the way you run your homeschool will drive how much planning you need to do in some kind of planner, even if it were a paper planner. So, those of you who are unschoolers, probably I don't think you're even here. So if you're an unschooler watching this, that would be sort of unusual. You might be looking at like, what did the people do who don't unschool? Because unschooling is typically very unstructured. You kind of go with the flow. You don't really plan. You probably live in a state that doesn't require you to do a lot of record keeping, or you're sort of flubbing it, and that's fine, more power to you. But um, for I would say the vast majority of homeschoolers who feel a little more comfortable with some planning, even if they're not keeping strict records for their state, you still need to consider your method and your style. So whether you're Charlotte Mason or Waldorf or Montessori, or you're following a detailed curriculum, or you're eclectic, some mixture. Maybe one kid is doing one thing and another kid's doing another. Consider all of those. Consider all of those things, and ask yourself, like, how flexible a plan do I need? Because some of these plans keep very detailed records, but they're not super flexible in terms of, yeah, we missed a day, or oh, we're not going to keep up with that lesson, or I'm never going to use that lesson plan again, or I'm making it up as I go along. You're not necessarily unschooling, but you're like, I'm going to drag that over to tomorrow because we didn't get it done, or we decided at the last minute to go to the aquarium, and you don't want to have to do as much work going back into an application to like replan what you previously planned because a monkey wrench got thrown into things. So take that into account. Like, how much do I need a planner versus a place to just document what we're doing so I can run a transcript or reports or keep track of attendance or something like that. Okay. So like, weigh that out. Do you use a boxed plan even for a class? Okay. Do you use online sources? Do you make your own custom lessons, or a mix of all three? And what's the ratio? Do you stick to the lesson plans in those curriculum, or do you sort of like jump around? Because some of the things I'm going to show you actually tie in with some of the boxed sets and some of the curriculum you can buy, and some of them allow you to customize what you're going to use and some don't. So again, you don't want to have to like unplan what's already planned. That then it becomes more work for you. Do you need to submit the records to a homeschool advisor, a co-op, or the state each year? That's going to be important. And then the ages and capabilities of your kids. So once you get done with your homeschool method and style, and like whether you need documenting versus planning, like lesson planning for each of your kids so they know what to do on a given day, and what they're doing, or what they've done and what they need to do next if they're using it for like scope and sequence and stuff. Once you get that nailed down and you figure out what kind of person what kind of homeschooler you are, then they could look at the ages and capabilities of your kids. Are they old enough to use something on their own laptop, device, phone, etc.? Can they navigate it on their own? Is this something that you're going to use and then print things out for them, or show them the screen, or have a screen open someplace? How much do you want them to use tech to get to their assignments? And is this more something for you to manage? So you'll evaluate them on that basis. Um, Young kids, very young kids below fifth grade, tend to do better. And I would tend to recommend printed forms and lessons. Like, here's your list today of what you're going to do, or here's this week, and here's a folder full of stuff that maybe you printed out, whatever. And you might even find that one of these programs works well for you because you have kids in elementary school, and you might change your mind when your kids get to middle school or high school and go with a different planner. That's possible. So think about the ages of your kids and how much you want them to use the tech or not. And then if you need printing, make sure that the thing you choose has a very good printing feature. Um, Older kids, middle school and above, because they tend to use tech more, especially if you pulled them out of school and they're used to tech interfaces, they can get very fussy about the interface functionality that they're used to. If you had a kid in school and they were used to Google, Classroom, or they were used to Canvas, you might have to wean them off of that onto whatever you're using. And you might want to take into account what they've grown accustomed to using, and does it in any way resemble what you're looking at? Because if they need to use it as much as you do, you want their buy in. They are a user of the interface. So you might want to pull them into the conversation. Um, so think about how user friendly it is, how much leeway you want them to have to make adjustments to assignments. Sometimes older kids I know my daughter's a sophomore, and there are times when, an assignment takes longer than I thought it would. And one of the reasons we're homeschooling is to allow for that flexibility. So if she actually needs more time to finish a project or finish doing something, I want her to be able to like either drag the assignment to a different day, change the date that it's due, make a little note to me to say, hey, we got to move this. I don't want to be like the gatekeeper of that feature, but other parents might want that. They might not want their children to be able to make adjustments at all or even to create their own assignments. So take a look at that. Um, After you've looked at sort of your audience and what their needs are and what you want them to be able to do and not be able to do, then you need to look at your own tech abilities. And I'm saying this in an order, that I think makes sense, but if you want to start with your tech abilities, start there, start where you want to start. But these are things I think are, must do's. Do you need lots of tutorials to figure out how to use a system and customer support? Because then you're going to want a system that has that. Or are you just pretty tech savvy? You can like fumble your way around and figure things out, and you don't really need to have ready access to the people who build it or run it, et cetera. And then what kind of device compatibility do you need? Because it can be a pain to have something that only works on a desktop or works best on a desktop or doesn't work on an iPhone, for example, but does work on a non-iPhone, like an Android-based phone, if you have an iPhone, those kinds of things. So take a look at what your needs are as far as that goes. Budget, again, weigh the trade-offs. Most of them are really competitive. And none of the ones I'm showing you are way out of the realm of the others. Some give you a lot more features for the higher price, like a higher price than even the price point I've told you that you may not need. And then others are super basic at their lowest price point. So, but they're really all pretty similar. So your trade-offs are going to be all in the terms of, look, feel, functionality, rigidity, etc. Um, Keep in mind, if you decide to go with something free, and I'm not really showcasing anything free here, free equals Google Classroom. Okay. But if you decide to go with something free that's out there, or even the baseline Trello, which isn't designed for homeschooling, and neither, by the way, is Google Classroom, nothing is really free. One of the benefits of paying for one of the applications that I'm going to show you, and by the way, I'm not an affiliate, I get nothing out of this, is that you get a higher degree of uh, privacy. This is your data, your child's data, and you don't necessarily want everything, mined and sold to the highest bidder. So if you're saying, well, I'm just going to use Google Classroom or I'm just going to use this other free thing, just keep that in mind. Free isn't really free. Best case, you're looking at ads. And then if you need to share it with your child, they're looking at ads. So consider that. So let's go to some of these, and I'll share screen and I will show you what they look like. Okay. So the first one that I'm going to show you is, I wanted to try to find something, for you that I wanted to open it up so that you can just see their website. So let's try. Yeah, here we go. It's called Syllabird. So like syllabus, but a bird. Okay. So let's go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So Syllabird calls itself a simple, beautiful planner built for homeschoolers. You can try for free. That's one of the things I didn't mention. Take a look at their opportunity for free trial or at least videos that show you what it looks like and how it interacts. That's, something you should look at. So Syllabird is cool. You get a 14-day, no credit card required trial. It's got pretty colors. It has, printable worksheets. You can keep track of everything. You can, upload uh, and store like everything that you need. Let me see. I have notes on this. I made notes for each one and I want to make sure I'm going off my notes so I don't just like fly by the seat of my pants. All right. So one of the big selling points of Syllabird is that it is very, very fast. It is very fast. Because it was built using the latest technology, it's fairly new. It's extremely high tech on the back end, so it's fast. There's nothing like clunky about it. It'll work on any device. It has convenient features that help with some of the hardest parts of homeschool record keeping, things like automatic assignment rescheduling. So you could set some, if something didn't get done, it will automatically reschedule it to a certain amount of days in the future if you set that in advance. There are student logins, printable planners, student can track their own work, and you can create repeated assignments even with patterns. So it's every Tuesday or every Wednesday or whatever, but there's like a repeated assignment, like do X amount of math lessons in your book. If you don't have a specific lesson plan, but you're using an application, or not applicant, but like a curriculum, and you just want to say do a lesson every Monday and Wednesday, for example, and make sure you do at least one lesson, that could be a repeated one that you could schedule across a pattern. Um, then, you know, it's any screen size, any phone, any tablet, etc. And the 14-day trial also comes with you can request a one-on-one demo to learn more about it or ask questions via video chat. So they're very responsive and portable. And as you can see, you can create your own classes. You can, have as many kids as you want, keep track of, documents. So let's take a look at their organization. Um, Again, this matters more if you are organizing things to report to someone else or if you need it because you have multiple kids. So you keep assignments, courses, grades, deadline schedules, all of them in one spot. So you can take like at a glance, take a look at their current grade. You can use and reuse courses, save the resources like PowerPoint, spreadsheets, anything that you want to keep organized in one place. It will automatically grade if you set something up in advance. It'll store their work. They can attach their own work and it will print transcripts. So very, very powerful. Full disclosure, I'm not using this one right now, but I am considering switching to it for next year. I'll show you the one I'm using and I'm quite happy with it. I'm just saying that now that I am aware of this through my research, I'm considering it for next year. But we'll see. We'll see. I haven't yet decided because I do like what I'm using now. All right, moving on to the next one. The next one is called Homeschool Hall. And that one is was created by homeschoolers, which is very cool. And if you are a person who needs to track state requirements, this is probably the best one out there for that purpose. Um, the founders of this are homeschool families themselves. There quite a few of these products are founded and created by homeschool families, so you've got that, going for you. They kind of get it. They've thought of everything. They understand what features you need, et cetera. Probably more than you even need. The the activities can be tracked on your desktop, but it's also mobile friendly. Um, the desktop version, but they're working on an app. So in other words, there's only a desktop version. You can look at it on an app or a device. It's still reasonably well, but they don't have a separate app. Syllabird does. So just, there are some differences with that. Um, they're also coming up with an online lesson planner, one-click report card that might already be in here actually. Last time I looked at this, they didn't have it, and transcript generation, things of that nature. The plans start at $7.99 a month, very similar to the others, and they do have a yearly or lifetime option, which can save you a lot of money if you want to make that kind of commitment. Here's the caveat with Homeschool Hall, in my personal opinion, and it comes highly recommended by a lot of people. But it has, um, yeah, it's like homeschool progress, whatever. I'm trying to find, here we go. There's some progress tracking tools. Now, the part of me that is homeschooling to avoid this kind of rigidity doesn't care for this, but that's me. Okay. You may love this. You may be like, I want to see exactly how many hours my child is spending doing each thing, which are core, which are non-core. If your state literally requires attendance tracking and average time spent per day, and this degree of monitoring of your child's progress, or if you do for some reason, then you'll love it because this tracks them down to like the subject level with stats like this. And you can do it, all at once for all your kids. You can, I mean, use on any device. See, here it is. Now you can see it pretty the platform the platform is only made wait. Yeah, the activity journal is on any device now. So it looks like they've got that set up. Record your grades, goals, all of this. I mean, it's super powerful. I wouldn't use it because, again, I don't want to know all that. I don't want to input that in the first place to even find it out. And then I'm afraid if I started finding it out, like about progress and rates and this and that, I would feel this pressure that like we're behind and we need to catch up. And for me, one of the main reasons we're homeschooling is not to do that. It's not to do that. So you have to decide for yourself. Do I want those kinds of detailed comparisons? Do I want to even at a glance be comparing my students to each other? If I have two kids doing the same curriculum, but they're different ages, whatever, do I really want to see that? Is that relevant? Like, in other words, this feels a little bit more like school at home than some of the others. That said, extremely powerful. So if that's something that you want, there it is. And the price point is about the same as the others. Okay, moving on. We have Homeschool Planet. Homeschool Planet will give you a lot of the same features you can get from a universal planner. So one that is not homeschool specific. Um, but any old online planner program. So if you want something that allows you to schedule things like extracurricular activities and chores and all that kind of stuff, field trips, exercise, meals. I mean, if you want to combine your homeschooling planning with your life planning, Homeschool Planet might be for you. It has a strong interface for classes and assignments. You can create a variety of classes and lessons all while keeping track of their attendance, grade their work, print out basic educational necessities like report cards and transcripts. Most of these have this, by the way. So, as I said at the outset, if you want to make transcript creation easy, then using a digital planner is probably a good idea. Now, elementary school parents, you don't need that, do you? Right? You don't even really need it in middle school. High school parents, yeah, you're gonna need that. Even if your children are not going to college, you're going to want a transcript for them because you don't know what their future plans might be. They might not go to college right away. 3, 4 years from now, they might say, I've changed my mind. I need a degree in XYZ, or I need to go get a certificate and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to need a transcript for that continuing education, even if it's cosmetology school. They're going to need to see that they've fulfilled certain requirements and it's not just, yeah, I graduated them. And in my state in particular, I get to say I graduated them. But if I don't give my kid a transcript, she's going to be in trouble. I mean, people are going to want to see it for any continuing education whatsoever, even community college. So you're going to want that. Um, so it's they give you a 30-day free trial, which is great. Um, you know, just like the others, everything in one place, easy lesson planning. There are integrated lesson plans. Now, this I thought was kind of interesting. Um, these are the subscription prices. So you get the 30-day free trial, the annual subscription. Like I said, they hover around $70 or $7.95 a month. Look at all of these. These are lesson plans and curricula that you can preload. So if you are using a box curriculum and they have it, this could be for you. This could be something you're like, oh my God, saving my life. I can just put in my moving beyond the page or my Saxon math or, whatever I'm using. Okay. They also have some of their own lesson plans like drawing and piano and gym and apologia, Bible lessons, et cetera, et cetera. I can't vouch for the quality of these or what they're, BJU Press, Rosetta Stone. We know some of these, Memoria Press. We know we've heard of them. So you might look through them, Pandia Press, so forth. I can't vouch for how not woke or how not mainstream they are, or whatever. If you're looking for something a little, very precise, this might not be for you. You might be like, yeah, I don't care. That's not what I want. Like IXL, Lightning Literate. A lot of these are the same they use in the public schools, right? So, but some of them aren't. And so you might like IEW. This is actually a good program, right? Grammar for the Well-Trained Mind, it's a really good program. So there are Handwriting Without Tears. There's a lot in here. You just have to pick and choose, what the art of problem solving is fantastic. Um, so you're gonna have to pick and choose. You don't may not need it all, but there might be some you're like, that's actually pretty good. I really sort of like that. All right. And that can be purchased with your plug-in lesson plans. And then it makes it really, really easy for you to plan according to even to your boxed curriculum. You don't have to do double entry. And then there's the lesson. And there it is with like they can do what they're doing and so on. So that could be a real benefit. Um, so this uh and with a 30-day free trial, it gives you a lot of time to decide before you commit. So I think that one of the benefits of that one is that it has, the lesson plans preloaded. Now I'm going to show you the one that I use and you can see for yourself. I use Homeschool Manager. It's very simple. Okay? What I like about it, I'll tell you, is I like the fact that it allows me, I just have one child anymore using this. So I didn't need tons of bells and whistles. And we are not using a boxed system of any kind. She's doing one thing on Khan Academy. She's using CK12 for biology, but labs that I create that are from a curriculum. So I'm typing that in. For geography, we're making it up ourselves. I have some books and we're doing geography ourselves. Same with English. We're using Seven Sisters lesson plans, but also books that I've chosen. So it's very eclectic. So what I like is I can go in and create uh my own, the schedule. I can change the schedule. I can put in the holidays, and every one of these little boxes can be dragged and dropped. Can be dragged and dropped. Um, and then you can, and I'm gonna show you. There's a way to sort of see it in action. Some of these have YouTube channels, by the way. In fact, Homeschool Planet has a YouTube channel, and yeah, Homeschool Planet definitely does. So if you're interested in that, you can go check out their YouTube channel. But this is like a little Vimeo, uh, a Vimeo video that shows. I'm going to turn off the sound because you don't really need to hear it, but I want you to kind of see what they do. So you have, an assignment you put in, and the little box would be checked that the assignment's done. But these can be dragged and dropped. They can be moved to other locations pretty simply, just like that. And what's cool about it is that my daughter can do it herself. Some parents might not like that. I like it because she knows where she is with something. Now, if I see it happening a lot, obviously when I would chat. But for a 15, almost 16-year-old, I want her to have a little bit more say in what she's doing. She can even create C little plus, she can create an assignment. So I create the assignments, but then if she's got something else that she's working on or wants to do, and there you go. So that's the drag and drop feature. You'll see also that the Homeschool Manager has um, a grading, like a grade book. When there are things ready to be graded, it pops up here for me and I go in and I grade it. So I have to go get her notebooks because she's still doing written work and look at the work or take a look at the tests. If it was on CK12 and there was a test there, I have to go look at that. In her math book, she's using Learn Math Fast. I have to actually physically look at the book and use the teacher guide and grade it. So that's why I say you have to decide how much of this am I doing paper pencil still? I've got a high school kid doing a fair amount of paper pencil. So I didn't need all those fancy bells and whistles and everything because we're not using out of the box stuff. I'm not doing a lot of online things. I don't have to keep track for the state. And I just want a super simple interface that can be changed on the fly. I can reschedule things like drag and drop. And so I chose this. Like I said, the Syllabird looks kind of interesting to me because we're considering the possibility of some community college classes next year. in addition to everything else, and I might need a little more scheduling and flexibility. I'll have to see. But this is serving us well right now. And you can start using it for free. You get a trial period. And as far as pricing goes, it's $49 a year. So for my budget, was a good deal. It was plenty good enough for us. Um, as I said, there are things like some of these applications have features like book lists and whatever. This has that. So you've got the drag and drop. You can view your entire week at a glance. You can view multiple weeks. You can go next week, next week. So you can set up a schedule saying, we do English on every Monday. And most of them allow that too. I just want you to know that a $50 a year program gives it to you as well. So you have to decide how much or little you need. Their trial is 30 days. You can do printable versions. So if you need to print something out to give it to your child, edit the task on the fly, add tasks easily, just a quick add. Oh, don't forget, you've got this. I put in ungraded things like we're going to, this class, like a silks class or something. It's not graded, but just to put in a reminder so she knows, like, hey, we're going to do this. And because it doesn't have a date time feature, whereas the others do, I just put it in there. But like, we're going here at such a time, right in the subject line. That's enough for me. That's good enough for us. Again, one kid. But when you start having multiple children to juggle and you need them to look at something and have it sent them a reminder and so on and so forth, or you work from home and somebody else is taking them somewhere, or you work with a co-op, this may not be enough for you. This may be like the bare bones. Now, my only complaint about Homeschool Manager is that there are some user experience conventions that I think they need to take a look at. So, for example, I want to go back and show you. So, if you see on this screen right here how there's like the little plus, it adds another English assignment, right? This means that you have English to do that day. But if you click on this and then you want to edit it or change something, the cancel button and the save button are not lit up right, in my opinion. I've written to them, they're very responsive because it really should default to save and then cancel as separate. They have it backwards. So that's like my only nitpicky thing is that I've accidentally, thought I edited something and it wasn't saved. But if that's my biggest complaint, not that big a deal. All right, moving on. Um to the next one, which is the Handy Home Planner. Now, this one, why is this not working? Handy Home Planner. Hold on. Handy Home Planner. Get it. My apologies, everyone. I don't know why this is not working. Okay, that's not it. My link is broken, but this is it. It's this S crafty thing. Okay, here it is, the Handy Homeschool Planner. Okay, so this one, what I can tell you about this one is that it's a subscription-based homeschool planning app. It was developed by Homeschool Family as well, and it's pretty easy to navigate with a clean look and everything. And it's got a feature called Agile Views, which is a container system that allows you to drag and drop. So similar to what I just showed you, drag and drop items. So it's like your own whiteboard. So you can drag and drop items for specific kids, um, and so on. It seems like a simple tool, but it actually has a lot of features. So if you're not super tech savvy or really comfortable with lots of moving parts, think twice, but it's worth looking at if you want lots of features for the price. For example, you have weekly containers, so you can place events in them following each weekday, as well as done containers, so that you can move completed tasks to that. And if anything isn't complete, they're moved to the next week for you, like automatically. In what I'm using right now, I have to move them. So if it's not complete, it's just sitting there waiting for me to move it. It's not that big a deal. I just move it, but it doesn't automatically happen. So it's one of those things that you might want to think about. Um, you can live chat with your students, which is helpful if you work outside the home, and it has a great function if you're part of a co-op. You can connect with and view your child's progress in the co-op to see how they're doing if you give access to it to people in the co-op, if there's like a co-op teacher. So there are all kinds of screens. Like you can look at it's $8.99 a month, so it is a little bit more money. This shows you what a schedule looks like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And this is what I meant by, there's lots of little icons and so on. So some people, some people are like, it's too much. I don't want all that detail. You have to know yourself. That was me. Me was like, I just want it there to be like, this is what you need to do today. Okay. And then, drag, drop. If it's not done, $50, I could pay that. Um, but this gives, and the one I'm using, by the way, you can put links to outside sources in each assignment too. But this has, like the link, it's got the time, the date stamp, the materials that you need, ability to put in check boxes, whether it's graded or not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This has a calendar view. So if somebody wants to just glance across their calendar, this is very, very helpful when you have multiple students doing multiple things and maybe different places, or they have extracurricular activities they're trying to juggle as well, not just courses at home. And if you want to put chores in, you can. Notice here's chores as well as what they need to do the chores. You can chat with them. Some people absolutely love this. Like, oh, I can run my whole life from this. And again, if you have a sitter or an older sibling, monitor younger siblings, like this could be really, really helpful. Um, One of the other things that it has in here is it allows you, yeah, to schedule chores and planners as well as the day-to-day tasks. And you can create new courses to add to your curriculum, and it will enable you to print the resources, adjust procedures to your preference, and match to your curriculum, as well as duplicate resources for the child and other students. So if you used a math lesson for one student and they've completed it, you can still go use that and duplicate it and copy it over to another student for present or future use. There is a YouTube channel
Handy homeschool planner.
is, here it shows you like a video of everything. So if you want to bookmark Handy Homeschool Planner, you can go and watch all manner of tutorials and things about it. Okay. So there's that. Now we go to one that has an interesting feature. It's called Homeschool Panda. Homeschool Panda has something unique in that, in addition to a planner to keep track of day-to-day activities and tasks and calendar budgeting, things like that, it offers you the ability to chat with other homeschoolers around the world. You can become part of a community. So there is a really robust YouTube channel that shows, like, they position themselves as not just a planner, but like a revolution unto themselves, like a community, like what I would like to have built, but I don't have a big budget. But anyway, they have, it's a mobile application. They're trying to organize homeschoolers to be a homeschooling, force. And so they have, tutorials on just about everything. You name it, it's in here. How to do everything with their stuff. But one of the cool things that they have is this chat. So what you would do is you go in and you request to chat with other homeschoolers based on geography, based on age, based on whatever. And then up will pop names and pictures, and you send them a request saying, hi, I'd like to be, pen pals or get to know you or whatever. And they have to approve it. They'll look into you. And if they approve to get the message, they'll, you guys can, your student can start talking. So that is a way to have, to build community. But this is a pretty robust thing. They've got homeschool planning using the app, homeschool resources, reviews, getting started, you name it. It is pretty amazing. Now, as far as the price of this one, I'm trying to find their price. They do give you a 30-day free trial. And after that, and you can be an affiliate, so you can make money if you sell it to other people, because just like me, they're trying to build a community. And that's one of the ways you do it. I can't get a fix on the price, though. That's the only thing I am not 100% sure of. My guess is it's probably similar to the others, possibly a little more expensive because of the robust privacy restrictions they're going to have to keep to have a community going. But it does work on iOS and Android devices, has unlimited students and storage, very, very powerful tool. And one of the key things that I would say differentiates it is the budgeting feature. So it helps you watch and keep track of all of your spending in regard to your homeschool curriculum and materials. It's available anytime, anywhere, and so it makes shopping for the resources that you need really easy. There's even a My Book feature that allows you to build your own digital library. You can scan barcodes of books to log them into the system and keep track of their progress on that book, and you can add books to the lessons you create. That is pretty darn cool. So if you've got young children, especially who are consuming lots and lots of books, and you want to log that they've read all of those books, if only to keep them motivated, that's a pretty neat feature, I think. I wish I could show you that, but my recommendation would be to go to the YouTube channel and check out, you know, whichever one will show you all the features because they've got just so many things in here, as you can see. Okay. Next, we have something called the Homeschool Tracker. Homeschool Tracker is a flexible online tool for homeschool record keeping, planning, reporting, all the things. You can input homeschool lesson plans and schedule assignments, and it makes the grading more accessible, puts everything in one place, etc. Creating report cards and homeschool transcripts, it does do that. And, your students are set up with their own accounts to log in and complete assignments, check them off when they're done, etc. You can customize this program quite a bit for how you want to keep your records. And it allows you to work with other homeschool tracker users to share lesson plans and customize them to you and your child's needs. They too have a YouTube channel, and it has an introduction video that shows you, what's going on. If you go to the whole channel, there's, getting started, there's webinars, etc. Now, I will say that this one requires a little bit more setup on your part, the parent. It's not quite as WYSIWYG, but it is pretty powerful. And the other cool thing is that the people who built this are very responsive to suggestions. So you can send them notes saying, hey, could you add a feature for this, whatever, and you can do it right from within the application. I think the pricing is about the same as the others, possibly a little bit less, but there is more upfront work on your part to set things up the way you want it. So you just have to take a look at whether you like the interface, you like what it offers you, you like the price, that type of thing. And then the last one I've got here is called Well Planned Gal. Little bit sexist, if you want to know the truth, because it's assuming the person doing this is female. But here is their website. It's very pretty. You can kind of get a sense of what the screens look like. Really pretty. Everything looks so laid out and nice. You do get a full feature 30-day trial. The pricing on this is a little different because you've got 30-day trial. There are curriculum schedules for specific curricula. I'm going to go to that and show you. They give you, step-by-step progress for already existing curriculum materials. So, for example, if you're using Singapore Math, Saxon Math, Life of Fred, these are great programs. Story of the World, this is a lot of unwoke stuff, guys. Language arts, I mean, easy grammar, one of my favorites. We've got all about spelling, also one of my favorites. So I really love that they have this stuff, but it's going to, you know, cost you a different amount. So let's say, for example, you wanted to get, level 2 Singapore Math loaded up in there. It says add to cart, but it doesn't say how much. It's designed to be used along blah, 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 schedule overview. Add to cart says 0. Not sure how that works exactly. Oh, try it for 30 days. So they're not really showing until you try it. So I would strongly recommend, but now we see down here, there's like prices on some stuff. So it's not as transparent as I would like as far as pricing goes. Um, it says online planner. You see, it's like shop by, get organized. You have to dig around to find out. You have to dig around to find out what it's going to cost. But it sure is pretty. And they do have a lot of great curriculum you can automatically load up. I just don't know if y'all need this. So worth looking at. If you need to be on a strict homeschool schedule, this is the way to go. Certainly, this is one of the two, I think, that would be really good if you want to be on a very strict, very clear schedule. The other one was, I think it was, which was the other one that I said had a very strict schedule. Yeah, it was Homeschool Hall. So these two, I think, are the most well designed for the people who need like rigid record keeping, or if you're a paper planner devotee, like you get one every year and you keep it and you follow it and you decorate it and you might love this. And I'm not making fun. Like I've always envied those people who can keep such track of their lives. I just know that I'm not one of them. um, so if you're on a more relaxed schedule, it can work for you, but it might be overkill. So I would recommend that you try the free version before you commit. They say the paid version, I did find it. The paid version, $65 a year, um, is ad free and it's updated. I just think the other stuff is probably extra. So that's just something to consider. Now, what have I not discussed? I've not mentioned um, Google Classroom, really. It's free. Well, I mean, I mentioned it insofar as, hey, it's free and you don't have to pay for any of these and you can plan things, but it's pretty rigid. It's kind of hard to use. There are other things I would recommend using before Google Classroom for safety. They will cost you money though. And the top pick there, if you're looking for something that is not specifically homeschool related, but is whole life related, and you want to be able to customize it. And your big thing is, I just want to capture links and resources. And I'm much more interested in grabbing things from a variety of places and storing them and then creating, my very, very own little office and desktop and find all my things in one place. Then I recommend Evernote. It has a pretty steep learning curve, but it too has a lot of tutorials and it has a price to match. But if you're a person who, let's say you work from home or even you work outside the home and you're juggling childcare and you're juggling job and you're juggling homeschooling and you're juggling a bunch of, tutors and who knows what else, um, Well Playing Gal probably served. So I would compare the two because it's not like Evernote's any cheaper. But if you're like, I want something that's more geared towards like my adult life, I don't want to have a separate adult planner and a homeschool planner, I probably would go with Evernote or at least look at it very, very seriously. So that is one of the things that I think most of these do is they sort of assume that whoever's running the planner is either keeping their own stuff separate, like I do, or they don't need something super robust for themselves within their homeschool planner. Homeschool Hall being the exception. But like I said, be sure you want that because that also has a very school silo subject related planning system. Um, it's not that they're not flexible. They're all flexible. They all let you move around and do things. It's how much of a learning curve and how much of a price is there for you to access all that flexibility? Are you really going to do it? Or are you going to end up doing a lot of work to undo all the planning that you did just to make a momentary change? We had an appointment. Oh, we got in on a cancellation at the doctor's office. He's sick. He can't show up at baseball practice today. Like, are you able to go in and just drag and drop and everything adjusts? Or do you need to like move a whole bunch of things around to make it work? So think about that. If you're super tech savvy, you won't care. You'll just want the most robust thing. But if you're looking for something that's just keep it in one place and print me a transcript, you might not need all of these features. So as I said, I'm going to put the links to these in the resources hub and in one giant post, probably with some writing around it, like the stuff I just read. But this video serves as like a quick intro to, hey, these things are out there. Go check them out and see what you think. Once again, running down the list of them, we've got Syllabird, Homeschool Hall, Homeschool Planet, Homeschool Manager, that's the one I'm using, Handy Homeschool Planner app, Homeschool Panda, Homeschool Tracker, and Well Planned Gal. So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on Friday with another topic.